Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another webinar with My Law in Spain. Today, Pedro, my tax colleague, and I are talking about capital gains tax that you could potentially pay in Spain if you sell a property in your home country. Okay, so Pedro, the big question: if I sell my property in my home country, I make a gain and I move to Spain, do I pay any tax here in Spain?
Yes, according to the Spanish law and according to the resolutions of the General Director of the Taxman Office, you should have paid taxes in Spain. You need to declare all the income that you receive worldwide in Spain if you become tax resident, and that obviously includes your capital gain taxes.
Okay, all right. So just a quick reminder, if you're considering a move to Spain, then it's very important to plan that carefully to mitigate this tax and other taxes that may be payable. And so you're aware, the tax year in Spain runs from the 1st of January to the 31st of December. And if you spend more than 183 nights in Spain in that tax year, January to December, then you become a tax resident here.
Yeah, so, that is correct. Yes.
And of course, holidays count as well, do they, Pedro?
Yes, sporadic absences counts for the 183 days. That means that holidays counts as per the Spanish taxman interpretation. So the only way that you avoid to be tax resident in Spain is to submit a tax certificate stating that showing that you are tax resident in another country to the taxman office.
Okay. So if I'm moving to Spain, I've sold my property in my home country, and yes, I have made a gain. How much tax will I have to pay?
Well, it has according to the Spanish income tax law, okay, the tax that you shall pay is proportional. Okay, there is a scale, okay, and depending on the profit that you are going to earn in the sale of your property, you are going to pay more or less. Okay, the tax scale starts at 19%, okay, and the maximum rate is the 26% right now.
Okay, so for example, I know we discussed this earlier, but if I made a gain of less than 6,000 euros, then or up to 6,000 euros, I paid 19%. And a gain of more than 300,000 euros, I pay 28%, which is quite a lot. Bear in mind, it's my main residence in the UK, in my home country, UK, USA, wherever it is, and then moving to Spain, I'll pay that tax actually here. Are there any deductions, Pedro?
Yes, you are. You have the right to deduct any expenses involved in the sale and in the purchase of the property. That means that the taxes that you have paid when you bought the property, the fees that you have paid to your solicitor, the fees that you are paying to the notary, okay, all that kind of expenses can be deducted, okay, to reduce the profit of the sale and obviously to avoid to pay more taxes.
So in effect, all of the costs of purchase and all of the costs of sale are deductible, and then the net gain is subject to that tax, yeah?
Yes, all the ones that are directly related to the sale or the purchase operation.
Okay, and obviously if I make a small gain, then I pay less tax. But what happens if I've made no gain?
If you make no gain, you should know you do not need to. You are not going to pay taxes.
Okay, and if I made a loss, for example, on the sale.
If you made a loss, you can declare that loss. You need to declare that loss in your Spanish income tax. Okay, depending on the rest of your income. Okay, you can enjoy a deduction and allowance, or you can compensate the loss that you are suffering with another capital gains taxes with another capital gains that you are obtaining.
Okay, so that's important. So basically, if I have made a loss on that sale, then I can use any losses to deduct that from my Spanish personal income tax here in Spain. Okay, that's interesting. And what if I use all the monies from the sale of my own country property, and invest them in my Spanish property?
That's an interesting question, because according to Spanish law, you have, if you the profit that you obtain in the sale of your property abroad, if you reinvest that profit in the purchase of your new habitual residence, okay, you can ask for the taxman that profit is exempt to pay taxes.
Okay, so I made a big gain on the sale of my property in my home country. I put all of that money into one property, which is going to be my main residence in Spain. No
Yes.
tax payable in Spain.
No tax to be paid. No.
Okay.
Only you need to prove to the taxman that property is going to be your new habitual residence, and obviously that the property that you have sold was your former habitual residence.
Okay, but Pedro, what happens if I said I'm going to rent in Spain first and then buy? Do I have a period of time within which I can reinvest those monies?
Yes, 2 years.
Okay, so I've got 2 years to reinvest those monies. And just bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the Spanish tax year, again, runs from January to December. And if you arrive during the tax year and become a tax resident in that same year, you actually present your tax returns between April and June, the year after you arrive. But there's an easy way, Pedro, isn't there, to mitigate having to pay any capital gains tax at all on a sale of a property in a home country. And the simple solution to that is sell up, time your move to Spain carefully, and that means you won't pay Spanish capital gains tax here on the sale of your property in your home country.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
So just remember, don't spend 183 nights in Spain. So you could basically plan to arrive, say, 1st of August, and if you've spent no other days in Spain, then because you arrive in August, you wouldn't spend 183 days in that tax year, so no capital gains tax payable.
Yeah.
Okay, Pedro, any other comments?
Yes, actually, one last thing. People that are over 65 years old, if they sold their habitual residence in Spain, okay, according to the Spanish tax law, okay, your habitual residence if you have lived there the 3 last years. Okay, if you sell your habitual residence and you are over 65 years old, you do not have to pay any capital gain taxes, even if you do not reinvest the property. So, for example, you can sell your property and rent a property, and you will not pay any kind of taxes.
Okay, and let's just make a point, just to strongly differentiate that. We've been talking up until now about someone moving to Spain, they sell their property in their home country, they reinvest all those monies in Spain and time their move carefully, and then they're living here. And after they've been in their main residence for 3 years and they're over the age of 65, they sell their property, no capital gains tax on that. Okay, so there's just a difference there. If you've made a gain on your home country and moved to Spain in the same year, you could be liable to pay tax. Careful planning as to the dates when you come to Spain would be highly advisable, so you mitigate that tax. But when you're over 65, been here for resident for 3 years, off you go, sell the property, no capital gains tax. Thank you very much, Pedro.
No worries, Alex. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And for more information about taxes, whereas non-resident income taxes, capital gains tax, or national income tax, please send us an email to inquiries@mylawyerinspain.com. Thank you.
Thank you.